Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC 285, Jones versus Gane. As you can tell by the demeanor in my voice, I'm pissed because I paid $86 for this pay-per-view, and it ended like this. I mean, I'm kind of happy for Grasso. I guess that second fight didn't. The co-main didn't throw me off too much on. I liked both fighters, so I'm not really too mad about that. The Jones fight ended in quick succession. I thought this was going to be a lot more, I thought this was going to be 10,000 times much more deeper than what it turned out to be. Apparently, before I even get into the honorable mentions, no one got robbed, no injustices. We'll get to the honorable mentions, but apparently, Gane is so bad on the ground. I don't even want to use the word so bad because I don't even think that's fair. I don't think that's a fair statement. I don't think he's that bad on the ground, but he's not good on the ground. Or excuse me, on his back. He's not good when someone is grappling him, right? Because we've seen him grapple other people, but I'm so stunned. And it pisses me off because John's talking throughout the week, and he was like, he's the most incomplete fighter. And now they'll jump on that narrative. The new narrative of John being not being passionate enough to win his fight against Thiago and Reyes, that narrative jumps up to 10 billion% now. So that's why I'm pissed, because everyone was just throwing shit to the wall and apparently saw something in Gane's game that we didn't see. I mean, even though we kind of knew it, but we didn't know it. It's one of those weird things where, sure. But, if this had ended in, the fourth round and Jones win, I'd be mad, but I'd still be I'd be cool about it. This ended so quickly. Gane is that bad on the ground. I don't think this happens with Stipe. I don't even think this happens with the Blades. I don't think this happens with Pavel, obviously. I'm just saying, it hurts. Gane is so... I don't even know what to say. There's nothing to add. There's nothing to add, dude. What the fuck? Dude, I'm fucking pissed. $86. Now I get it. I'm not a boxing fan, so when I pay for a pay-per-view, I'm not just there for the main event. No shade to the boxing fans, but I enjoyed the whole card, so that's why I'm, as an MMA fan, you can't be pissed. You pay for the whole thing. Well, that's not actually true. You pay for the 5 fights, if we're being actually cool about it. You're paying for Nickal Pickett, Gamrot Turner, Neal, Shevchenko, Jones. So if you're going to be cute about it, you paid for 4 really good fights, and then you paid for the main event. So I'm just so lost in the sauce right now. I don't know what to think. I'm really lost right now. Before we get into the honorable mentions, there was a noticeable thing I noticed during the Rakhmonov versus Neal fight. Rakhmonov lost his mouthpiece, I believe, somewhere in the I can't remember what round it was. I think it was second, maybe. Second or third. He lost his mouthpiece. Might have been second. Lost his mouthpiece. And the commentary team is, helping the ref to find his mouthpiece. And I tweeted about this, and a person responded back with, yeah, they should have helped him. And listen, I get it. It's not bad that they helped him. I don't think that's the issue that I'm having. Is that we normally don't do this for a lot of fights. There have been fights where people have lost their mouthpieces in the cage, or it's out, and no one finds it until later. The commentary team isn't supposed to be helping the ref. What the fuck? What the fuck? And the reason why I'm really pissed off about this is because there seems to be this in the last 4 or 5 weeks. There's a lot to talk about on this card actually, underground wise. In the last 5 weeks, these Vegas refs have been atrocious. With Mark Smith in fight night cards, just not putting people back in the right position. With Herb Dean today deciding, you know what, I'm going to stop the clinch position that Rakhmonov was in. I believe Rakhmonov was in that position. Stop it. Get the mouthpiece. Find it. Give it back to Rakhmonov, and then clap his hands, and then Rakhmonov just jabs Neal. If you're a coach, how do you not scream at these fuckers and be like, dude, you are ruining, you're like hurting not only the integrity of the fight, you're actually changing how the fight is. Neal was getting him. Now, I don't remember if Neal was up on strikes in the second at that moment, but it was fairly close. The point I'm making is, it's different if the ref goes, claps his hand, separate. Here's your mouthpiece. All right, hold on. Let me put you guys back in the position you guys were in and go. Then, here's your mouthpiece. Let me step back, clap, and then Rakhmonov just goes boom. Nobody questions it. We question it every week in the Apex. In the Apex, it's, hey, why didn't they put them back together? Coaches are screaming on the sideline. What the fuck? Did these guys get a new initiative to just be shit? Mark Smith, who has a short leash, if you watch enough Apex shows, he's very like, hey, guys, move it. Apparently, the crowd wasn't even, this wasn't even a crowd that was like, boo, stand him up. No. He's standing up people. I believe he separated somebody on the fence who was working. He separated them. They were working. And he separated them. Herzog, who I normally love. I love Jason Herzog. Terrible. I'm tired. First of all, real quick back step. I'm tired of hearing Joe Rogan say Herb Dean is the gold standard. How is he the fucking gold standard if he keeps fucking up every week? Then we have this week today where Herzog, oh my days, Shevchenko is working on top of Grasso. Forget that. Grasso is being active on the bottom. You know what he decides to do? He stands them up in the middle of a pivotal round. What is he doing? These are championship rounds, and I hate to say that because if you notice carefully, certain championship fights, if the fighter is a grappler, they'll get the leeway to just sit on somebody, right? They'll let them happen, right? Certain refs, different rules. Different refs, different rules. But you go to this fight, Herzog was just like, nope. Shevchenko's on top of Grasso? No. No. And then Shevchenko got the takedown the second time, but still, I'm just lost for words. The reffing tonight. Garbanzo. In key moments. Terrible. And I'm fucking pissed. I'm really pissed. Let's get to these scorecards so I can... First honorable mention, we have Martinez versus Saaiman. I had this 29-27 for Saaiman. The last 2 rounds I gave to Saaiman. The first round was going to be a 10-9 for Saaiman, but then Saaiman decided groin strikes. He accidentally hit Martinez's groin twice. They deducted him a point, making it a 9-9 round in the first. This was a majority decision. I'll read the description. In that very first round, Saaiman outstruck Martinez. Then the groin strike, the 2 groin strikes that led to the point deduction. In the second round, Saaiman outstruck and dropped Martinez, also had some ground and pound. And then in the third round, he outstruck and he had a takedown with ground and pound against Martinez. You go to the judges' scorecards, it was all over the place, really. Adelaide Bird had it 29-28. The last 2 rounds, the second round she gave it 10-9. In the third round she gave it 10-8. I disagree with that. I disagree with the 10-8 in the third round, but whatever. First round is a 9-9. I believe she's the only one who scored that first round for Saaiman without the point deduction. So I think that was good on Adelaide Bird. And hence you got the 29-26. Saul D'Amato had a 28-28. He gave the last 2 rounds to Saaiman. And in the first round, he scored for Martinez. So a 10-9, but it made it a 10-8. Hence how you get the 28-28. And then Chrisley, same thing. 10-8 in the first round with the point deduction. A 10-9 in the second for Saaiman. And then a 10-8 in the third for Saaiman as well. So, honorable mention to Saul D'Amato and Chrisley for that first round scorecard. You go to the second honorable mention. Okay, that's Araujo versus Ribas. I had this 30-27. I think 30-27 was the correct score. I was miffed to see the scorecard on this, but 30-27 was the correct score, is what I had. I'll read the description. In that first round, Ribas had a takedown with ground and pound. It was close on the feet. They were kind of trading back and forth on the feet. It's kind of weird because Ribas has these weird awkward strikes. She just moves weird, but it was close on the feet, fairly even on the feet. Ribas had a takedown with some ground and pound. Araujo had a sub attempt and was active on the ground, but Ribas did much more work than her, enough for her to win that round. You go to the second round. Ribas dropped Araujo and had a lot of ground and pound for about 3+ minutes, and Araujo was slightly active on the bottom, which is why when they were mentioning 10-8s, I was like, no, Araujo's active enough to warrant off the 10-8. And then you go to the third round where Ribas had a takedown with ground and pound and outstruck Araujo, hence the 30-27. You go to the judges' scorecards. Mike Bailey gives the first round to Araujo. Honorable mention, don't like it, disagree. And then he gives a 10-8 to Ribas in the second round. Again, I understand why they probably did that because of the drop, and then she just kind of stayed there for the rest of the round. Araujo was active on her back. She was pretty active on her back. It warrants off the 10-8. I don't like that either. And then a 10-9 in the third for Ribas, hence a 29-27 for Ribas. Then Saul D'Amato had a 30-26. His scorecard reflects mine, except for the second round where he gives a 10-8 to Ribas. And then Ron McCarthy, his scorecard exactly reflects mine. So honorable mention there to Mike Bell. You go to the third and final honorable mention, and that's Gamrot versus Turner. This fight ended in a split decision. I don't think this fight should have ended in a split decision. At least maybe a 29-28, but not a split decision. I had this 30-27. The second round I put a close marker on. You can actually argue the third round for Turner. I'll read the description. In the first round, it was close on the feet, but then Gamrot had 2 takedowns. In the second round, Turner outstruck Gamrot on the feet. He outstruck him on the feet. And then Gamrot had a takedown with ground and pound for like a minute left. And he kind of did enough there, in my eyes, to kind of win the round. But the thing was, if you remember at the top of the second round, Turner dropped Gamrot and also outstruck him. So you can actually argue that second round for Turner. And then in the third round, Gamrot had 2 takedowns and he outstruck Turner. His round, pretty simple. Through being on the feet and on the ground. You go to the judges' scorecards, which are a little wonky. Derek Cleary, he gives the last 2 rounds to Gamrot, and then gives the first round to Turner. Honorable mention there, no. David Lethaby, he gives the last 2 rounds to Turner. The second round, I understand. The first round, the third round, that makes no sense. So honorable mention there. He gives the first round to Gamrot. And then Ron McCarthy has a 30-27. Boom. And that's all you got. Jones ended the fight stupid quick. Garn has no takedown defense at all, apparently. And then Shevchenko loses in a fight she was winning. in a fight she was winning and was most likely on her. I'm not gonna do that. This is the fourth round. She was winning, and she lost. And now we're probably gonna get a rematch. And if I'm thinking this properly, I just thought about this when I saw her lose. I thought this in my head. These fighters are getting old now. I know. I saw her age, and it was 35. Not too old, actually, if you want to think about it properly. Not too old, but these girls are actually gaining on her in terms of like age and whatever. They will catch up to you. Eventually, the youngins will catch up to you. And in my head, I'm just thinking one thing. She goes back. She rematches Grasso. If you were to put this in a simulator, she beats Grasso. And she fights Nunes, and she just goes off into the sunset. But the way when I listen to her interviews, the way she talks, it comes off as she's going to fight till fucking 40, which in my head is a little unheard of because you see males fight into their 40s, and that's fine. I guess it's a little different, maybe, depending on who the fighter is and who they're fighting. But with Shevchenko, if you look at her reigns, then it makes sense to just be like, you know what, I'll fight into my 40s at flyweight. But if you look at it now, you have Grasso, who got on her back from a miscue. And I'm not trying to diminish Grasso's. I like Grasso. I love Grasso. I want to marry Grasso. She got on her back on a miscue. If you look at that, and throughout the commentary, they were praising her striking. Round 2 and 3, Shevchenko was counter-striking very well on Grasso. I'll just note that. But Grasso's able to get this submission win. And that's Grasso, who's actually really nice on the ground if you watch the Araujo fight. The Araujo fight. You now have Manu Farrow, who I don't know if I've seen her ground game. I don't know if her ground game is good enough to beat Valentina Shevchenko or her striking. But you have her coming up. You have Blanchfield, who's going crazy right now, and objectively speaking, has a better ground game than Grasso. And it's bigger than Grasso. I mean, I want to say bigger, like she's kind of like chubbier than Grasso. You know what I'm saying? If Grasso fought Blanchfield, there's a chance that Blanchfield just subs her. Just sinks her. So this flyweight division is coming up on Shevchenko, and I would like to see what's next, But that's all I got. Nice pay-per-view. Just ended kind of weird for me, at least. Thank you all for listening, and God bless.